I have listened to the many perspectives in the latest hullabaloo about dancehall artist Vybz Kartel, whose real name is Adijah Palmer. I think too many people have been missing what I consider to be the most pertinent point in this debate. The point for me is not about whether Kartel's music should be banned from public radio or be recorded in prison. That isn't the most salient point here. The debate instead should be about the quality of the music being produced by any convicted murderer and released from a government-owned prison. We are yet to hear the Department of Corrections or other government authorities dispute claims that the artist is recording music in prison. In fact, just this month, the Broadcasting Commission publicly noted its futile attempt to have the Department of Corrections verify the claims. However, what we know is that years after his incarceration, Vybz Kartel has been heard in tune-for-tune combat with his arch-rival Mavado. Since his incarceration, we have heard new music littered with gun lyrics and pornography. So, are we to remain silent on this matter of public interest? What we do know is that Vybz Kartel, until he is released from prison, should not have privileges equal to artists beyond confinement. To think otherwise is to be asinine. One would logically expect a prisoner to be singing redemption songs instead of gun tunes and, to a lesser extent, lyrical pornography. Redemption songs, at the very least, would tell me there is some form of rehabilitation taking place in prison, which, rightfully speaking, should be a correctional establishment. Where does Commissioner of Corrections Ina Hunter fall in all of this? Is she being held accountable? If Vybz Kartel is in fact doing gun tunes in prison, are prison authorities turning a blind eye out of nepotism? Is this so, Mr. Tom Tavares Finson? I don't know. I'm simply asking you, a public servant, a pertinent question. Another artist, Jacure, did a most powerful and positive tune, Reflection, when he was incarcerated. I, frankly, expect nothing less from the lyrical world boss who, whether we agree or not, has been convicted of a crime, a most serious crime. I haven't heard in any other country any prisoner doing gun lyrics from behind bars. Then we lament gun murders, the very thing our artists promote freely and fearlessly in their lyrics. Then we lament the failure of witnesses to come forward when we allow our artists to promulgate the infame of the dead culture freely and unabashedly. Where are our thinkers in this country? Have our lawmakers fallen asleep? Do they fear these selfish vampires parading as dancehall artists? Don't get me wrong, they are not the only inglorious blot on our social fabric. They just happen to be the focus of this commentary. I really don't need to be reminded about the evil perpetrated by our politicians, especially in the 1980s. Talking about politicians, it was tragically comical, in fact, to hear our chief lawmaker, if I could call him that, this month denouncing gun lyrics while on a political platform. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, with the passion palpably in his voice, said, and I quote, "We cannot allow violence to take away our true culture, and that is being projected as a culture of Jamaica. We must stand up, talk to the entertainers, talk to the promoters." End quote. Those were the Prime Minister's words. Yet, are we to accept that any prisoner under the Prime Minister's ultimate supervision is releasing gun lyrics and lyrical pornography from behind bars? That don't make no sense. In fact, the Prime Minister and his Minister of National Security, Robert Montague, have no moral authority to tell anybody anything about crime in this country until they, at the very least, can tell us that the reports about a prisoner doing gun lyrics in prison are false. Let it be known, I don't subscribe to gun lyrics being produced in the island, whether or not the artist is in prison. And I think it is full time our lawmakers address this issue forcefully. Or are we to believe that they too subscribe to the view that, unlike everybody else, dancehall artists have no social responsibility and are simply mirrors of a sordid social construct? Well, if dancehall music lacks influence, Dr. Donna Hope, Advertisement is a waste of money. Bob Marley's musical legacy is a waste of words. The concept of socialization, after all, does not stop outside dancehall's door. Once it can be discerned with any of the five senses, it can indeed influence people's behavior. And this is why I subscribe to the following quote from renowned philosopher and anthropologist Ludwig Feuerbach. Alluding to the value of the senses in socialization, Feuerbach said, "Man, too, is given to himself only through the senses, is an object for himself only as a result of the senses." Again, once we can discern dancehall with any of the five senses, we can be influenced by it and vice versa. Anyways, more time. Thanks for listening.